Princess and Her 11 Brothers. A long time ago. In a country there was a king, and there was a queen. The country was far from the seashore. The king had 11 sons and 1 daughter. The girl was loved by the king. The king affectionately named him Elijah. The king had a very happy family with the queen and children. He had a great reputation throughout the state. The subjects loved the king very much. One day sadness came in the king's family. The queen died suddenly. A flood of grief swept across the state. But without the queen, the kingdom does not run. So with much sadness in his heart, the king married again. But the new queen was very wicked. He did not love the king's 12 children at all. He used to speak against them to the king. Saying this, the king's mind became angry for a while. The king sent Eliza to the village on the queen's advice. There Eliza will work with farmers, live with them. The queen spoke many more bad things about the boys to the king. Once the king abandoned his 11 sons. Ronnie's heart was not happy with this. The boys have to be sent somewhere far away, so that they can never come to this state again. The new queen knew a lot of magic inside. One day he magically said to the boys, "Itching bitching furut. At this moment you will become wild birds and never speak again." As soon as he said this, the princes turned into 11 beautiful ducks, and flew far away. Days go by, months go by. Eliza is much older now. He is now 15. One day the king was anxious to see Eliza. Then he sent the messenger to Elijah. Elijah left immediately after receiving the news. But the evil queen lurked on the way in disguise. Elijah was coming this way. Ronnie found him and poured the black juice of groundnut on his face. Then Eliza's hair was neatly combed. Elijah entered the palace and greeted the king, but in no way did the king recognize Eliza. Eliza was very sad about this incident. She came out of the palace and walked along the path crying. As the sun sank lower in the sky, Elijah came to a large forest. The fatigue of the whole day overwhelmed him. He fell asleep lying on the grass beside the forest. When he woke up, he saw a river flowing by him. The water of this river is very clear and sparkling. Elijah quickly got into the water and took a dip. Elijah washed the ink from his face with the clear water of the river. Immediately, Eliza became as beautiful as before. Princess Eliza started walking through the forest again. An old woman met him after going some distance. Eliza greeted the old woman and asked about her brothers. The old woman said, "I have not seen any prince going this way, but I saw 11 golden-crowned wild ducks on the beach." Eliza started walking with the current of the river. Once the river came and fell into the sea. Elijah's journey is over. Wandering on the beach, he found 11 white feathers of a wild duck. And in the evening, he looked up at the sky and saw the ducks. 11 wild geese with golden crowns on their heads fly along the line. It looks like a white stripe is flying. Eliza stood by as the ducks slowly descended. When the sun went down in the western sky, all the feathers fell from the bodies of the birds and Elijah got back his 11 brothers. The older brother told Elijah that when the sun goes down, they become human. But as soon as the sun rises, they will become birds again. He also said, they live beyond 13 rivers of 7 seas, but they can come to their beloved motherland only for 8 days in a year. The next morning, the brothers put Eliza on a sheet. Then he bit the corners of the sheet and flew with Eliza across the 7 seas and 13 rivers. They flew with Eliza all day long. Just before dusk they landed on a green island. The island is very beautiful. The waves of the sea play all day and night all around. After the whole day's work, the brothers fell asleep early. After looking at the sea for a while, Eliza also fell asleep. In his sleep, Elijah saw a man in a dream. The name of the pair is Morgan Le Fay. Perry told Eliza, "You can save your brothers if you wish. If you can knit each of them a dress, they will become human again. But for this, you have to pick the thread from the thorny leaves and weave clothes with that thread." Eliza was very happy to hear Perry's words. She said, "I want to start weaving clothes today." Perry said, "There is one more difficult condition. No word can be spoken before all clothes are finished. If you say a word, your brothers will die." Hearing this from Perry, Eliza woke up quickly. He collected thorny leaves of various colors from the forest. Then he began to extract the yarn from them with great difficulty. The thorn pierced his hand and blood started pouring out. Yet he did not stop. That day a king came to the forest to hunt. He was passing this way. Suddenly he saw Eliza. "What is a beautiful girl sitting in this beautiful forest?" The king was very curious. He approached Eliza and asked what she was doing. But Eliza made no answer. Because he knows that if he says a word, his brothers will die. The king was very kind to the girl, thinking she was helpless and dumb. He took Eliza on a horse and brought him to the palace. After some time, King Eliza was impressed by her beauty and married her. Eliza's heart did not feel good even after becoming queen. She cries all the time. To stop Eliza's crying, the king brought Eliza's clothes from the forest, yarn and thorn leaves. Seeing these achievements of Elijah, one of the king's ministers looked at him suspiciously. The minister thinks that Elijah is a magician. He keeps an eye on Eliza all the time. He brought this to the king's ear. But the king did not believe that. Eliza stayed up all night knitting clothes for her brothers. Late one night she ran out of yarn. He ran out of the palace to collect thorn leaves. Eliza hurried to the cemetery. From there he collected many leaves. The minister saw Elijah going to the graveyard at night and reported it to the king. The next day when Elijah went back to the burial ground, the king saw it with his own eyes. Magicians usually come here at night to catch frogs, to perform various magic tricks. Seeing Elijah here with his own eyes, the king believed his minister. Elijah is definitely a magician. Otherwise, he would not have gone to the cemetery alone at night. King Elijah was sentenced to death. Eliza was imprisoned. However, as long as he lives, he can spend time knitting clothes. For that clothes, yarn and leaves were given with him. Elijah thought, maybe he will not see his brothers again in this life. But she continued to weave the clothes with attention. Slowly the last days of Eliza's life approached. He was taken to the gallows. The crowd of people of the state fell all around. Eliza's face is pale. Hair is messy. Eliza doesn't care. She is knitting clothes quickly. Before dying the clothes must be finished. If one day his brothers get these, they will be princes again. The evil people who came around began to say, "Look, look, the condition of the witch girl. Let us tear off his magic clothes." Saying this, the wicked people really started coming towards Elijah. Eliza was afraid. Will they really tear the clothes? Just then, 11 wild ducks came down from the sky and surrounded Elijah. Eliezer has no more time then. He was very happy to see his brothers for the last time. She hurriedly threw the 11 clothes she had knitted to the 11 brothers. And such wild ducks became handsome princes. Now Eliza can talk. He smiled and shouted to the king, "Now I have no difficulty. I can talk now. I have no fault." Along with the sister, 11 brothers said in unison, "Our sister is innocent." The elder brother came forward and told the king all the events. The king was very happy to hear his elder brother's words. He adopted Eliza again. He happily gave Eliza a golden feather. The king and Eliza returned to the palace with his 11 brothers. The people of the state were very happy to hear this news. A wave of joy swept across the state. The festival lasted 11 days and 11 nights with 11 brothers in the king's house.